Hi Pete, thank you so much for joining me. I just wanted to obviously introduce everyone to you and find out a little bit more about you and where you cover and what areas you go to. Pete is one of our main guitarists that travels around the south of France and Spain, I think, by the sound of it.
Yeah, north of Spain as well. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. That's for the winter months. So tell me a bit about where you're based and what areas you do cover.
So I live basically 20 to 30 minutes west of Carcassonne, so towards Toulouse. So obviously I cover this whole area, but I also play right over as far as Nice, and then all the way over as far as Bordeaux. Obviously they're very long journeys, so you know.
Yeah. And do you fly there or do you drive?
I would drive, but I might have to then stay a night somewhere on the way back, because if you even drive to Nice, that's pretty much 5 hours.
Yeah.
So if I do a wedding in Nice, I will have to, you know, stay in a hotel on the way back and not try and do the whole journey there and back in one day, because that would kill me.
I think it's quite normal with suppliers though, because France is so widespread and obviously everybody kind of does tend to travel.
Yeah, yeah. Now as I get busier each kind of summer, I can be more selective in what I choose, so I can also stay a bit closer to home. But your average wedding is probably an hour and a half from where I live. And that covers the whole Toulouse area, up by Béziers, then over by Narbonne.
Yeah.
And then into the Pyrenees. There's lots of little cute weddings happening in the Pyrenees. I mean, they're everywhere in France these days.
They're everywhere. There's the weather. The weather's there. That's why, and it's just one of the most popular wedding destinations, France. And I've always loved working there. So, do you have like quite a big repertoire of songs? Have you got a big list?
God, I have a huge list at the moment. I'm probably on the list I've written out where people can choose from. I probably have nearly close to 70 songs on it.
Oh, wow. And
they're not all memorized. I'd have to kind of go with the music.
How do you do that? Do you kind of just go, right, everyone wants these songs today, I better just have a little practice run?
Pretty much. And each winter when things are a bit quieter, I try and add more and more to my repertoire. And then if people ask to have certain stuff at the ceremony, like if I learn a song for one wedding, then I have it.
You do that. If they've got a specific song.
Yeah, basically, the ceremony. Yeah, but the ceremonies, they can choose their own pieces. Anything. It can be classical music. It can be their favorite pop song, and I'll basically learn an instrumental version of it.
And what's your most? Do you have a popular song that people ask you, like the main song?
I do. Would you believe it's kind of one you wouldn't really think of? It's for when the bride and groom exit, and actually is "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles.
Oh,
and the amount of times I've been asked to play that, and I think I know why, because obviously the weddings in France are outdoor because it's so sunny, especially in the south of France. And I think people just kind of think, oh, that will work, and it's a song that suits all age groups. Because remember, at these kind of weddings, you get old people, you get young people, and play a song.
And they're the classics. Everyone's heard of them now. Everyone, even the young, the younger generation, they've heard of the Beatles, and especially after that film come out. Have you had?
I know exactly.
That was a good.
I keep getting asked for this song, and it's like some of the different suppliers I work with, the different celebrants are like, "Oh, you're going to be asked that song again." But I love playing. I'll play you a few bars if you want.
No, let me hear it.
Okay. I just need to put the cap on for that. Are you able to see the guitar?
I can picture people walking out to that actually, because then they're going to go off all jolly to their ceremony, like after the ceremony and drinks.
Yeah, no, I love playing that piece, but that is my most popular, most commonly asked song for an exit. Maybe because I have it on my list.
Yeah.
And if some people aren't sure, and because when people come to me, usually the bride I'm dealing with, it's always the bride, and they either know exactly what they want, or they haven't got a clue. And if they haven't got a clue, it's not that they're not interested. Just like, oh no, like what song?
You've got them on the spot. They've got to think, and it's like, what should I have? What should I have?
Exactly.
And
so what I do then is I send them my list and I say, look, have a look at that, but also think of a song that when you guys first met in a nightclub or in a pub or wherever, is there any song you think is funny? And you do get asked some strange stuff as well.
What's the strangest one you've ever had?
Well, in terms of a wedding, it's not a strange song, but in terms of being asked to play this at a ceremony, it was the Game of Thrones theme. So the song for the Game of Thrones.
I think I
basically the theme song for that. I'll give you a few bars. So basically, the two people getting married, this was last year, were big fans of
Game of Thrones.
And they just thought it'd be funny to have, maybe as they were walking out, not to have something more traditional.
Yeah.
Just have something more. Yeah. And obviously people in the crowd didn't know. So it was kind of a big surprise, and then it was kind of, it made it all very relaxed. Sometimes what music people choose can help set the tone of the wedding. And that's not to say that choosing something traditional is a bad idea. I think it's a great idea to play some traditional stuff. But if someone picks something with a bit of fun and it's outdoor, people do relax a bit more.
I love that.
This one, the Game of Thrones, was probably my strangest request to play at a wedding. And the reason they chose it because they were big fans of Game of Thrones. They thought it'd be funny. So I'll play a little bit of it for you.
Okay. And do people actually kind of get up and dance at like a ceremony? If you have that come on, I kind of want to come up and just have a little bop.
I know. Well, do you know what? The place I played it at, it was in an old chateau. And like, it is kind of a strange request for a ceremony, but it actually really worked as well because it was such an old chateau. And to play that kind of old style music, I know it's written these days, that song, but like it's, you imagine the Middle Ages and old kind of buildings. So it just really worked. And so that's probably the strangest request, but whatever people want for their wedding, it's up to them.
Yeah.
They decide what music they want.
And you can just go off. And how long does it take you to kind of, if they say they want a particular song and you haven't got it in your repertoire, how long does it take you to go off and learn it?
It kind of depends at the moment. I won't play it for you because I haven't learned it, but you know the film Toy Story?
Which one?
The Disney movie Toy Story.
Oh, wow.
For kids. So I've been asked to play the theme song for that, which is actually nice. It's called You've Got a Friend in Me.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah, written by Randy Newman.
And in Big Bang Theory, she did that as the song where she did for her vows. And she got
there you go. So I'm learning that at the moment, and it's not a very difficult song, but sometimes to get a song to make it work for an instrumental, because remember, I'm not singing.
I was going to say, you don't sing, do you?
No, I mean, I've sang before in the past, but for weddings I've just decided to keep it instrumental.
Yeah.
For many reasons, it's just easier. I think it suits the ceremony better.
The ceremony, yeah, definitely.
Just something about, sometimes I feel the voice can. Now, sometimes some guests have asked, can they sing a song with me as a surprise for the bride and groom? And that kind of works very well. But yeah, back to the Toy Story. That song, like, I guess it would take a few weeks, not playing it every day, but kind of coming back to it. And what I do, I have a list of different songs on the go. So there'd be Toy Story, there'd be another song, Stevie Wonder song. You'd have a few that you're learning in a block of weeks at the same time, so you don't get too obsessed with it.
Quite a good way to memorize it, isn't it? If you do like repetition every day, it kind of.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because when you get there in the day, I mean, many things can, it could be kind of windy. So that could put you off a bit, you know what I mean? Or it could be very hot. So you really need to have it under your fingers. You really need to have every song, even though I do bring the sheet music with me.
Yeah.
So I'm probably sure. But like, many things is suddenly that it could be delayed or could suddenly be moved from one area in the chateau to another. So all these unexpected things can happen with a wedding ceremony. So for that reason alone, I like to be as well prepared.
Do you bring a lot of gear with you? Do you take like an amplifier and stuff like that? Is it quite a lot to move around?
It's what I keep. I've got each year, so I've been doing it now for 4 years in the south of France. Each year I got a bit better in terms of making my equipment smaller. So I have an amp, it's only about this size, in which I charge that overnight. So that will run without having to be plugged in. So I don't need electricity. Oh, it's perfect, because very often you'll play the ceremony in one part out in the lawn, and then the drinks reception might be around by the swimming pool or inside the chateau or wherever it is, and I can just carry that. Then I have a music stand with my music on it and closed pegs to hold the music in the wind, and that's kind of it. That's my setup.
Have you had any? Do you have lots of different types of ceremonies that you've done?
All sorts. I do anything from church ceremonies to very small, intimate family ceremonies to very big stuff in a big, huge chateau. I've done some ceremonies in very strange places, which can always be amusing as well.
Where, but what kind of, give me an example? Probably
this was last year, it was near Saint-Tropez in Ramatoul. So it was a beautiful location, but they actually had their ceremony on the side of the cliff. Swear to God. Yeah. Now they kept, a good few meters from the side, so ours kind of perched up on the edge. I'm not exaggerating. Ours perched on the edge between two rocks, and then it was a very small wedding. It was only family members. They came from the United States, and they were and the whole idea was that you'd see the bride and groom, the celebrant, the musician, and then you just have this amazing view of the sea. It was a beautiful day, and the sea was just like so blue. It was amazing. And when they all came up, when all the guests arrived kind of up over the hill to the cliff, they're just like, oh my God.
And you're just like, I just love my job. I love it. I love it.
Although it's not enough, because normally I like to play in shade. Also for the guitar, because it's made of wood. I'm very careful that, especially last year, it was very hot in France. So normally it's always, I'll find a shady spot to play.
And the south can be quite hot as well, can't it? It can be hot.
So that was a strange location. The other location that springs to mind was 3 years ago in the Pyrenees in a little village. So sometimes you get a wedding ceremony and the people might choose to have it like anywhere, which is cool.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to go over. They chose to do it in a little park in the town square, which was a very cute place, and it really worked. However, there was another wedding taking place, a French wedding, in a church 50 meters away. So what happened was, as we were all sat down I was ready to play, guests from the other, who were arriving for the other wedding, thought this was a meetup before, so they all came down and sat down, and pretty soon everyone realized, oh, we're in the wrong place. But it was kind of funny, and you know what, it broke the ice.
Yeah, everyone comes together.
Yeah, it was very funny, and people laughed about it. So then those people went back to their church wedding, and we did the wedding there in the little park. It was a beautiful ceremony. It was beautiful, and it was really intimate.
So how does it work? Obviously, because most of our couples are destinations. So do you first point of contact? They contact you, and how does it work from there? Do you Skype people? What's your
So what happens? I get an email, say through your website or wherever. They ask, am I available? What's my prices? And I get back, and then they go, oh, okay, I'm kind of interested. And then I send them a set list, and I tell them, look, I can play as people arrive for the ceremony, as the friends are coming and family. Then I can play for the ceremony, and then play for the aperitifs, which are held straight after.
Yeah.
And then I ask them, look, have an idea what songs you want to choose. And then what we then do is arrange a Skype call or a WhatsApp call. And then I talk to them in more depth about the songs. Because you find some people, they know exactly what they want. I want this song because that means such and such to me.
Yeah.
And then you find some people, they don't know what to choose. They're like, oh no, I don't know what song to pick. So then very often I do have to kind of help people choose. And I say, you can choose this, or help them find what they want.
You've got that experience, and you can say this really works when you're having your cocktails, or this works when you're leaving.
Exactly. Because sometimes they might choose a song that it might be more of a song that's a bit of a dancey song with beats, and it mightn't work as an instrumental solo, if that makes sense. So sometimes, once or twice, it might have been a song that people chose, and you're like, oh, do you know what? I don't think it will work. And you explain why, and they go, oh, fair enough. But usually 99% of stuff that people pick will work.
You do a little bit of, I think I saw one of your posts the other day, you did a little bit of Spanish music.
Yeah, I do quite a bit of Spanish stuff as well.
Love that.
Which works very well for the aperitifs.
I did actually, like, I think I commented and said, you need to play that for me when I call you. What was that song called?
That one actually I did. When I put on YouTube, was it?
I think you put it on your post on Facebook, and then I put a comment and said, play that one for me.
Oh, that was Take 5. That's a famous song called.
That's it. That's the one.
That's
Thank you.
So that's a great jazz piece called Take 5.
Was it Take 5? I'm going to make a note of that. I can see me.
Playing stuff like that works really well for, say, when the ceremony is finished, and then people move over to have the drink reception. And then it's during those drinks receptions, I'll play lots of songs like Take 5, that kind of jazzy stuff, a bit of bossa nova.
So they can
summery kind of feeling stuff.
So what I liked what you said a minute ago is that you obviously play for the ceremony, but whilst they're waiting and kind of having a meet and greet when they first arrive and before the bride comes, you can play some then. You can also play some for the cocktails. So do you do kind of like offer a couple of different sets? How long do you play for each set?
So basically, the full package would be that I play as people are arriving for the ceremony, and then I play for the ceremony themselves, and then I'll do 2 to 2.5 hours for the aperitifs. So I guess in total you're probably there for 4 hours because you need to arrive before, but I guess you're talking about 3 hours of music in total, 2.5 hours of music in total. But playing before the ceremony I find actually really important, because very often, as always happens, the bride is late, which she should be.
It's usually when I used to do their hair and stuff, you know, we've got to be a little bit late. There's a lot of details going on.
Exactly. So they very often, you know, you talk to the bride on the phone and they're choosing their songs, and then you go, oh yeah, so we're going to start the wedding at 3:30, for example, or 4:30. And I'm saying to myself, no, you won't. So that's why I suggest them that I arrive before and I play music, because very often the guests will arrive and then they're sitting in their chairs out on the lawn, wherever the ceremony is, and that they can be sitting there 20 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, you just
so they have a bit of music, so they can kind of relax. And sometimes they'll also be having drinks. There will be welcome drinks.
Yeah.
Which is a nice idea if people are organising a wedding to actually have that. So to have me already in situ playing something, I'm playing soft stuff because at that stage they just arrived, so I could play, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something now. Say something like Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen.
Yeah. Do you have some specific songs that you recommend that would work really well? Do you have like a specific songs that you actually love doing at a wedding?
I love doing that one, for example.
Yeah, lovely. That's kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, I think, you mean like for the ceremony itself?
Yeah, I mean, do you offer any advice to couples to what kind of songs?
No, absolutely. If couples are really stuck and they don't know what to pick, for example, you can always go with the traditional kind of bridal chorus, which is from Wagner,
Yeah.
which actually, here it comes. I'll just play a few bars, which actually works for anything. It works for the church, it works for a lawn in a chateau, it works for a little park in a village. And it's because it's so traditionally associated with weddings. I mean, it's a song I wouldn't get sick of. I just, when you hear it, you know what I mean.
Down the aisle one, isn't it? So when they first come. It's so clever.
And it works. I mean, it's a very traditional song for weddings, but like, I don't know, that'll work in any environment. So if people think, oh, maybe something's too old-fashioned, it never really is.
Associate that with the piano. So the fact that I've just said guitar is brilliant.
Exactly, and it works on guitar. I mean, you have to kind of change a few things, but it works very well on guitar. And the fact that it's on guitar, people be like, oh, that's a bit novel. So I always say to people, if you're very stuck, maybe do go back to the traditional stuff. If they can't choose something. Or I say, well, what song did you like as a kid?
Those kind of things are timeless.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic. You can't not have it sometimes.
Exactly. And I'll always say to them, like, if they're stuck for something for an exit song, always try and keep it upbeat. Yeah. Like, always have a song that's upbeat. And for example, so the song I played earlier by the Beatles, Here Comes the Sun, something like that's perfect because the ceremony's over, people are ready to get up, and you want to play something that's got a bit of life.
And get them lively for the rest of the night.
Yeah. Now, very often I also play during the signing of the register.
Yeah.
So even if they've done the official wedding in England or the UK, and then they come to France and they do like the ceremony, there still will always be a signing. And at that point, the photographer will want to take some photographs because then you have the parents come up and they're at the table. So very often it's nice to do some music for that. Yeah. But at that point, I would play something more classical, more kind of very soft. It could be something like. And that can work well for that point because when the photographer is kind of moving around, it can take up to 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah. So for that part, I'll just kind of fill.
You get a whole song in that time, can't you?
You would absolutely, yeah.
And how long have you actually been playing the guitar for yourself?
I first started playing when I was very young, probably 6. And then I played until I was about.
Did you know you were 6 to say, right, this is what I want to be when I'm older, this is what I'm going to do?
No, I just kind of did it because we had so many instruments at home in the house and guitars and pianos. So I played for many years until I was about 17, and then I stopped for maybe 5 or 6 years.
You got a musical family?
Yeah, there's a few people who play instruments in the family. Yeah. And then I stopped for about 6, 7 years, and then when I was 23 or 22, I said, you know what? I actually want to do this properly and make a career out of it. So I took the guitar back up and did loads of studies. I studied in Spain, flamenco music. I studied in Dublin, classical guitar, and kind of went from there.
Flamenco. Is that kind of what you just did with the Take 5?
No, the Take 5 was more jazz. Flamenco was more kind of, their hand. summery, very quick Spanishy sounding stuff. And stuff like that works very well for the aperitifs, the banda on air.
Yeah, and I know I love kind of international music anyway, and obviously being in France, there's a lot of international couples that have come over to France to get married, and they have lots of different cultures and traditions.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Embracing in some different types of music. Obviously, you've got flamenco there, but like if there's some different cultures and different music, is there any requests you've had that is kind of like been something completely different out of the norm for you?
Yeah, I had the 2 Brazilians get married last year, and they just wanted kind of Brazilian sounding stuff. They're actually Brazilians who live in America, in the States.
Is that kind of along those Spanish themes with the ones that live in America?
Yeah, so for them I just played, well, it's the famous, it's a bit of a cliche, if I can remember it now. Yeah. So that's a very kind of Brazilian, Latin American song. Yeah. So yeah, so very often if you get someone coming from, you know, Latin America or even Scottish people, they'll want something Irish or Scottish. Or yeah. So I basically, if people ask for something from their culture, I'll do my best to kind of play something that's from there. Yeah.
We're quite a big fan in our family of Greek music. We like a bit of Greek.
Oh wow, well I haven't done any Greek music yet, but if someone asks me.
Yeah. And what have you got planned for this year? Have you got a busy season?
Yeah, it's looking busy enough. We're about got 18 bookings so far.
There's still a few spaces there for anyone.
Still a few spaces. Yeah, still a few spaces. No, absolutely. And what I find is I usually get a lot of bookings a full year before.
Yeah.
And then you have a big gap, and then you get some before Christmas. And then you start getting loads more in the spring. And I know when people book weddings, they book everything in advance, but very often music can be left to one of the last things to book.
It's kind of like an order, isn't there, that they go through? It's like venue.
Exactly. The hair, makeup, the venue, all that's going to be done first, which is fine by me. But so I anticipate from now until probably the month of May, I'm going to get a lot more bookings. So I average maybe 25 or so a year or per summer.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for playing.
Very well.
Do one more song to see us out. What can we get you to play?
That's a good question.
What's your favourite? You can play something that you think.
Oh, I know I'll play.
Okay, so we're going to go to one. You cut that one. You look like you're proud of yourself for that one. If it was my husband, he'd want you playing Star Wars or something like that.
I've been asked to play that before for the drinks reception. 3 years ago I played that at a wedding, not for the ceremony but for the reception after.
Yeah.
So I actually have the music for it. I'll dig that out that's something I want to read. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you
for having me.
You've still got bookings available for this year, and you're taking.
I do indeed. So anyone wants to make a booking,
yeah,
tap away and
you travel around. You're happy. You're open. You're flexible. They can't go wrong, really.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll travel anywhere in France, any song they want, and and then we'll talk on the phone, and it's all nice and easy.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you. Thank you for being one of our amazing members. And we'll look forward to chatting again soon, and hope everyone can book for you. And you can go onto our website and look up Pete Mc Grane, and he's in our big white book in Musicians and Entertainment. So yeah, make sure you give him a call. And you've obviously seen a bit of a snippet, and I think you'll all agree he's absolutely fantastic and talented.